Okay, good afternoon once again. I welcome you to this class. In this class, we'll be practicalizing or practicing those vulnerabilities we talked about yesterday, as in the previous class. Now, we'll be starting from, it could be the simple one, it could be, I'll just be picking it randomly, and I'll try as much as possible to make the explanation very, very explicit. So after each vulnerability, after we've dissected it, we've exploited it, and we've solved the lab. Now the expectation is that you can ask any question you want to ask. That after each lab, I will give room for answer and questions. So we're going to start with like one. To me, it's kind of like simple. Access control vulnerability. So let's navigate to that place. Access control vulnerability. So we take on the first one. So before I proceed, please use the live session. I need to know if you all can hear me. Can you all hear me? Like, is it clear? Is it loud and clear? Just use the live session to answer. Okay. Thank you very much. So let's proceed. Okay. Okay, good. So let's proceed. Now it says the lab, this lab, just take the lab as a website. It's a website, you get. So for the remaining aspect of this, for the courses of this course, everything, all the labs that are going to be seen, just take it as a website. Like we are going to a particular website. Now, the assumption is that that particular website is vulnerable to that vulnerability that we are dealing with at that point in time. Yes. So now let's check out the first one. The first one says, unprotected admin functionality. What it means, like that admin things that admin can do that is not like allowed for a normal user. It's actually unprotected. What it means is that if a normal user knows how to maneuver his ways, if a normal user knows how to like bypass the access controls, it could actually perform some functionalities that actually belongs to the admin. Yeah. So the lab has an unprotected admin panel. Solve the lab by deleting the user Carlos. Now, the idea is that you are meant to create your own PortSwigger account. That's this web security. Create your own account, then follow suit. That's the way I'm doing it. You can decide to do it now or probably later, anyone you like. So now want to solve the lab by deleting the user Carlos. So let's access the lab. We are going to see if we can use normal way. That's not like normal user. Try and see if we can actually delete this person. That's we being a normal user. Let's see if we can, with that capacity of being a normal user, let's see if we can delete this person, this username or this account, Carlos. Now look at us here. This is the website, right? This is the website. So it has different things. This is like typical of Jumia or any of those shopping platforms. So we have all this written here. If you want to view details, let's view details of this one. So you can see that it's actually a working website, right? So we can read the stuff there. Return to list. We return to list. Home. This should be the home page. So this is the home page. My account, it should ask for username and password. So username and password. For this particular account, we're not given username or password. So let's still go back to home. So now let's check out something. Since they said it has a vulnerability of that's access control vulnerability. Now we're told to see if we can solve the lab by deleting the user Carlos name. It has unprotected admin functionality. So what are we meant to do? Let's append. Normally, like I said yesterday, we are using Buster when you are listing, when you are performing directory listing for a particular website. It's going to bring different lists of directories. One of them is admin. So another one is even robots.txt. If you're familiar with website, you know there's something they call robots.txt. So let's append robots.txt to this URL. So we have now it's telling us that user agent disallow. That is, the designer of this website actually, like I said, this one is made vulnerable ordinarily. So the designer of this website is actually disallowing users to get to this place, as in this directory / administrator panel. So it's actually disallowing users to get to this place. Now it means that if as a normal user we can actually get here, or ordinarily we are not meant to see this, but we've appended robots.txt, that's like robot text files. In most websites is there, robots.txt is there. But then we don't now know if it contains sensitive details. Yeah. So now what we need to do is we'll copy this directory. They say if we go to this directory, we should be able to see something. So let's copy the directory to see the functionality of the admin. So we're going to, instead of this robot.txt, we'll take it away. We put that stuff there. It's not meant to be double this thing. Take this away. Then we load it up. Now you can see it has taken us to this place. Ordinarily, if you play around the website, that's when you access the lab. If you play around the website, you will not be able to see this particular place. So what do you do next? What did they ask you to do? They just said you should solve the lab by deleting the user Carlos. So what do? You come here, you delete the user, and that has been solved. So now let's quickly reflect it in real life scenario. In real life scenario, assuming you have a website that has like access control vulnerability, and you happen to exploit it. What it means is that you can actually delete somebody's username. You can, apart from deleting, this one is just exemplifying deleting. It means you can do more. You can view his details. You can view his secret card details or whatever details that you have. Remember what I said yesterday. First thing is to detect the vulnerability that it has. Second thing is to exploit it. Right? Detecting is not always the problem because we have scanning tools. Now exploiting it is what seems to be a problem. Okay. So that's that on that. So we are going to move to another vulnerability. Let's check out, okay. So let's move to another vulnerability. So we can, since we've solved this, we can now close it. We go to remove here. There's one I'm actually reserving for the last, which is the one of authentication vulnerability. That's where you see where we are going to perform something like a dictionary attack, or otherwise you might want to call it brute force attack. Anyhow you decide to call it, it's quite all right. So I'm just kind of like reserving that one for the last. Okay, let's check out one SQL. Okay, let's check this one out. So it says SQL vulnerability in where, yes, the class is being recorded. SQL injection vulnerability in where clause allowing retrieval of hidden items. Where clause allowing retrieval of hidden items. So the first thing is let's see from where select. This is the query language, or this is what the SQL is looking like. Select all from products where category is equal to gifts and released is equal to 1. So let's access the lab. We access the lab. Mind you, your Bob. Ouch, I'm sorry about that. What did I just close? So why the stuff is loaded? Now let's quickly go back to this thing. The lab says this lab contains an SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. When the user selects a category, the application carries out an SQL query like the following. To solve the lab, perform an SQL injection attack that causes the application to display one or more unreleased products. Now let's go and check. Let's check this gift, like they said. They use gift as the SQLI, as the instance here. So let's check. You click on gifts. So the assumption now is that you've already carried out your pen test. You've carried it out, and what did you discover? You discovered that this particular section or this particular page is vulnerable to SQL injection, right? Now, one thing we can notice is that this web page is releasing 1, 2, 3, just 3 images. Now, the discovery, please always remember that thing I said. First thing is, what is the website vulnerable to? Second thing is, how do we exploit that vulnerability? And remember, you know what website is? Combination of different web pages. Now, it could be that there's just one web, is like a web page of the website that is like vulnerable to, let me see, like an SQL injection, right? It's not compulsory that it's all web pages. When I mean web pages, it can still be linked with directory. It's not compulsory that it's everything that is like vulnerable to. So it's right to say that this website is vulnerable to SQL injection. Meanwhile, to be precise with your statement, it's better to say like tell that place, go that exact place that is vulnerable to SQL. Now we are working on this. Now let's go back to what they said. They said to solve the lab, perform an SQL injection attack that causes the application to display one or more unreleased products. And what do we have here? We have just three products. So now we are going to go to our Bob. Where's our Bob? This is our Bob. Remember, I'm sure we already know the different functionalities, right? We already know the different functionalities. So now we'll go to our Bob. Let's go to let's go back to this thing. Let's go back. We go back. So now I want to click on gifts. But if I click on gift, I want to put on my intercept. I'm sure we know what intercept is now meant for. We want to capture this request. You get what to capture the request. So I come here. Remember, intercept is on, so it's not meant to load. So to keep on loading eternally. Look at it here. It's keep on loading eternally. Now the idea is that this guy must have captured the request. You see, when I drop this now, something is going to show port. So let's drop it. Drop. Now, can you see? Wait. I'm not sure this thing is showing. Ay, my goodness. Ah, share my screen. Sorry. Bob. Share screen. Please, do you know how I arrived at this stage? I don't know. It was not showing earlier on. How I arrived at this stage. Just raise up your hand and explain it to me. How I arrived at this stage. It was not showing before. I need someone just raise up your hand and tell me, please. Let me know if I'm going to explain it. Okay. I can see Stanley raising up his hand. Okay, Stanley. Stanley, please explain it to us. Okay, Stanley. Okay, he's not here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Stanley. I've unmuted you. You can speak.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yes, what I was asking is, you know.
Yes, I understand, sir. I said you put on the intercept on first. Then when you did put the intercept on, you went and continued what you were checking on that website. So the intercept will record some details for you. This page that we are seeing now. So from this page now, you can get what you want to. This is what from the recordings from the intercept.
Okay, yes, correct. Now, thank you very much for that. Now, what he said is actually correct. The thing is that when I was sharing the screen when I was explaining the Bob, I didn't put on the stuff. So now, what I did is before I click on gift, I put on intercept in my Bob. This is where intercept is. Intercept is on. I put on intercept for my Bob, right? So as I put on the intercept, and I went to click on gifts, going left and right, sharing this thing might be like a problem. But then just take note of it as I'm explaining this. And I'll put on and I'll click on gifts. Now what it did essentially is to capture the requests. If you notice now, let me share my screen again. Check this out. If you notice, this thing is still loading. It will continue to load because of what I've not actually permitted it to. Where is the screen? Come in 1 minute, please. Oops. Good. I'm sure you can see that that stuff is still loading there, right? So this thing is actually being captured. As it is being captured, whatever analysis you are doing with your Bob is up to you. So you are not like the thing will not actually move or leave there unless you yourself you now come to what you come to, let me say, drop the request or you forward the request. So we are going to now perform the action now. Let's share back the screen to our Bob. Now we are in Bob. Now, according to this thing, they told us that to solve the lab, perform a SQL attack that causes the application to display one or more of these things. So we are going to work on this gift. Okay, now you can see this thing. Look at this. This is like a GET request. Remember, there's a GET request, there's a POST request. So this is a GET request, category, gift. So this is what we are actually going to change. I'll copy something from here now. Okay, so we go to our book. I'm going to change this gift to something else. I'm going to use like one query that will let this thing read a different thing. So now you can see there's stuff here, plus or 1 is equal to 1. Now, by the time I forward this, we know that this thing is always true. It's always read it as true. So it's just like you are injecting something that is, I will use poison, let me use the word poisonous, or you're injecting something that is actually not meant to be inside this query. So now let's forward this request. I wish I can show the two screens at the same time. We forward this request. I will now share the screen. I'm not really enjoying the way this, I'm just sharing multiple, like going back and forth, sharing multiple screens. I want to share everything at the same time. You can see. I just hope this thing is not looking, that's why the best is actually to be doing it, you say, like at the same time that I'm also doing it. Let me calm down to explain what I did. If you remember what was on the screen, what was on the browser before, we have a website that is vulnerable to SQLI, right? Now, they asked us to do something. So split your screen into two. Windows plus. Oops. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Steve, for that. He said I should use Windows plus arrows key to split my screen into two. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay, let me load my book here. Now, basically, this is what I did. From what you can see on the screen, you can see the results that after we've already performed that our SQL injection. What did I do? I went to the web page. In the web page, we went to gifts category. Ordinarily, we could just see 3 items. We could see 3 items. Now, the task is now telling us that, hello, this particular web page is vulnerable to SQLI. Now, what can we do to ensure that we execute that SQL injection? What can we do to ensure that we execute that SQL injection? And I went ahead to click on gifts. I clicked on gifts. I intercepted the requests. As I intercepted the requests, I saw that gift category. Under that gift category, I now injected I don't want to use the word command, but I injected something that is going to interfere with the SQL or with the query. Upon running it, if you notice that thing very well, you see like 1 equals 1. You always return true, and as a result of that, that thing has already affected that query that is sending to the server. And as that thing is sent to the server, the result is that it's going to bring out like more than the expected number of gift items. Now let's check out what we have in the website. If you remember very well, we saw just 3 products, right? But this time around, what can we see? We can see good number of products under gift section. So, oh sorry. No, no, it's not yet on that gift section. Let me go and put off my intercept and see. Intercept is off. Coming gift. Okay, but then the challenge that have actually been solved, we've already executed that SQLI. So let me just pave the way for. Let me pave the way for questions in case there are, like, let me see any questions that we have for the moment. I would answer them right now. Okay, so
thank you, Mr. Boniface, for your time. First, for us to have access to the box suite, are you going to use Kali? Because I tried getting, I'm following you the way you're presenting here, but I couldn't have the box the how to Kali. How do you just connecting your stuff?
Wait,
also use
sorry,
Kali,
please.
or there is a pop application you can use.
If you want to use Kali, good and fine, you can use Kali. For me, to make everything faster, I'm not using Kali because the moment I use Kali for, if I use Kali for this, just imagine how difficult it is moving from one page to another page, from one page to another page. If I use Kali for this, it will even make it difficult more than.
I understand. What I'm asking is the box suite now. How can we use the box suite on Windows to interject to do the function that you did just now to enable us to perform what you want?
To make it easier for you, it is better you just use the browser that is inside that box, so that you don't have to set up anything. There's a browser there. I don't know if I should show you. Do you know where the browser is?
Oh, a browser in Kali?
No, there's a browser in Bob. Bob comes with a browser called Chromium.
Okay.
So automatically, you know when I was talking about proxy, talking about how to set up your port, you have to set up a proxy. Yes. I know that if I should leave us to the liberty of, like, let me say, setting it up on our own, some of us will face problem because at a point you may have to install certificate and all those things. I just want us to bypass all those rigors. Same way I did for the parrots that I already gave you. I said parrot Kali that I already gave you the file. Same for this now. Just go to let me show you, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I'm coming. Where is that? That should be Bob, right? So 1 minute, please. Okay, I think let's assume this is your Bob. Now, the moment you have something like this, you go to proxy, go to proxy. This is the beginning. Let's just say this is the beginning. Target, proxy. You go to proxy, then you go to under proxy, you should be able to see it here. So this is open browser. You click on open browser, then it's going to pop up your Chromium. Chromium will just come out by itself. Just if it doesn't come out immediately, you can wait for it to come out. And even if you are using it in Kali, it's still the same process. But this one, automatically, your proxy is already installed for you. No need to, I'm sure if you check some YouTube videos, you'll be seeing something like on your proxy, off your proxy, ensure your proxy is on. All those things, they call that thing Foxy proxy. That's one for Firefox or even Chrome. Yeah. But this one makes it easier. Just use your Chromium. Anytime I say on your intercept, fine, you on your intercept. Anytime I say off your intercept, you fine, you off your intercept. It's just like that. I don't know. I think you have answered your question very well.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, Mr. Thank God Patrick.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, there were two questions I wanted to ask, but I think I've solved one, but still related. So each time the PortSwigger kind of automatically gives you generates a password that's so long. I've tried to see how I could reset it to something shorter. Is there a possibility there? Because when you want to now sign in on another platform, it's like it becomes difficult. And then secondly is I kind of joined a bit late. I don't know how we got to or I followed the other processes, but I didn't know how we got to that part on the website. I didn't know how we generated the website on PortSwigger to get where you have the gift and all that before doing the interception and what I call it the attack. Thank you.
Okay, to answer your first question, when you are about to log in, maybe the very first time after the whole process and you get your password the first time, you save password. That's try to when it pops out, when that interrupt pops out, try to save the password like in your Google, in your no, you can't. Okay, if you are using Bob, if you are using Chromium that is inside Bob, it will not allow you to save password because of it's an intercepting tool. So it's not allow you to save password. Now this is the idea. Ensure that the password is already saved in your normal Google. Let me say you use Chrome, normal Google Chrome. Ensure that the password is already saved so that anytime you want to log in, you want to use Chromium that is inside Bob. You do what? You just copy the password and you paste it there. So you will have to manually copy the password and paste it there. For you to say change password all the time, probably you maybe forgotten the password or it's all this kind of long passwords that you cannot remember. I don't know if that answers the question of password. If it does not answer, just let me know.
Yes, it does. Of the question, I got the answer before you let me talk. I copied and pasted. I went to my Mozilla, Google, whatever, Chrome to get the password and copy and pasted. So it worked that way.
Okay, good. So your second question is, sorry, I didn't get, remind me please.
How we got to the web challenge, the challenge we're trying to solve. I know I followed from.
Okay, follow me while I do this. I would, where is, 1 minute. Can you see the screen I'm sharing now? Mr. Patrick.
Yes, I can. I answered, yes, I can.
Okay. So now you go to, just check the, go to PortSwigger. When you go to PortSwigger, you go to labs. Let me go away from this place. Look at this, just look at this directory. If you can follow it from there. You just go to labs. Let me open it. Let me open it completely. Let me go back. Okay, let me go back completely. Oh geez, I think this thing is on. My intercept is on. Okay, it's not on, it's off. One minute. I don't know why it's not ready. Okay, it's loading now. So now, assuming you have something like this, so you can see this all labs. Okay, this is not still the very beginning. Let's still go to the very, very, very beginning. Okay, so let's go to view. This is not view. Let's come here. You go to Academy. This is something that even if I don't do it, you will be able to maneuver yourself. You go to view all. Let's check view all topics. Under this all topics, let's just pick one of them. Let's just pick this SQL injection. it's not compulsory you follow my pattern. You can follow another pattern. You still arrive at the same. So view all SQL injection labs. That's all of them. So the assumption is that you're going to view everything. So this is SQL. This is all labs. So you can see all the labs here, all of them. Now this is for XSS. Then I'm sure that answers your question. This is for size.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It does. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Akinson Samuel.
Yes, hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know if it's just from my own end, but I can't actually access the gift category on the challenge, sir. It's showing accessories instead. Did you get me, sir?
Yeah, I got you. I was talking. I didn't know I was muted. Are you sure you are the right challenge?
Yes, I'm at the right challenge. It's showing corporate gifts, lifestyle, pets, then accessories instead of corporate gifts and gifts.
I'm coming. I want to load up the challenge.
Okay.
So when we try to access the lab, you can see the process I'm following. I'm sure that's the process you also followed. So what is the difference? Like, what did it show in your own? Hello, Mr. Samuel.
Yes, I said instead of gifts, it showed corporate gifts.
Oops, it's kind of strange. And you're sure this is the challenge? SQL injection
Yes.
vulnerability. Can you share your screen, please? Just make it.
Yes, exactly.
Share your screen, please.
Okay, let me see if I can. Okay, can you see my screen, sir?
1 minute. Okay. I can see your screen, but then I'm not seeing anything really legible. Sorry, are you there?
Yes. Can you see my screen, sir? Can you see my screen, sir?
I can't. It's not still showing me what I want to see.
Okay, let me see. Screen on here. No, I shared it already.
Okay, let me stop sharing my own so that your own will carry everything. Please, just try to make it snappy so that we can see everybody.
Okay, can you see it, sir?
Yes, I can see it now. Go back, please. Just go back.
Okay, okay.
If that's what I'm seeing in blank. Well, it's actually taking time. I don't know why. It's not. This is not meant to be a big problem. Okay, you are there. You like to show up. So it's not. It's not meant to be different.
I don't know. Yeah, it has opened now. And it's same.
It's very blur. It's just blur. Why not
So you
we
see the same, sir?
continue? But are you seeing gifts there? Are you seeing GIFTS gifts? Are you seeing it there?
No, sir. Just corporate gifts, sir.
Okay, click on that corporate gift. And someone is telling me that gift is actually meant to be different. Click on that gift, then do that thing that we do. Inject that query there. Let's see if it's going to work. Just tell me the response in the live session Q&A. Do exactly what we did.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Chuka. Then Mr. Musa will be the last person. Then we continue.
I was just going to say that what's the last speaker was experiencing is the same thing I'm experiencing. I'm seeing just corporate gifts and tech gifts. But I'm just going to go ahead and inject the query in.
Yes, like and you are sure this thing is the same, like it's the same challenge you are solving. It's not another one.
Yes, it's the same challenge, but I just see only corporate and tech gifts. It's the very first challenge for the SQLI.
Yes, the first one is it's strange actually, but then
it's possible that the challenge changes for every single IP address.
It could be. Is that corporate and gift, are they different?
Yes, two different tabs.
Wait, corporate is a different thing, gift is a different thing.
Yes, sir. I can share my camera so I can show you what I'm seeing.
Okay. Click on gift. Is your intercept on? Let me even see it first. Let me see gift.
Okay, I don't know if you're seeing what's it's quite clear.
I can see clothing, shoes, corporate gift, tech gift. Click on that corporate gift. Is your intercept on? Okay, scroll up. Let's see what we have under this. So replicate what we did. Click on corporate gift, put on your intercept, then inject the query. Then let's see the result if it's going to like bring it out. But while you do that,
I won't take much of the class time. I will do that and I'll get back to you.
Yes, that's better. You can just send it in that live session Q&A. Sorry, Mr. Tengod. Mr. Yusuf would be the next to ask. Then we proceed. Mr. Yusuf.
Hello, Yusuf. Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
I can hear you.
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to make a case that since the very first week you unmuted me, but today just click it and I've seen it as like give a chance, like showing you that I'm raising hand. So that's what I wanted to make a complaint about.
No, you are actually getting it wrong. Anyway, this is not the place to address that, but still let me address it here. Because the class is being recorded anyways. But still know that this call, every call or every video call is a different one. So if you say since the very first day, there's a high possibility, this is how we do it. The moment the video call is actually being made or the video streaming class has commenced, everybody is muted automatically, right? So whenever you raise up your hand, if I spot you, then I'm going to like unmute you. You get to talk. So that's basically the idea. It's not as if I muted you automatically or generally. Okay. So now let's proceed. I don't let me before I attend to the questions again. For the questions, okay, Mr. Patrick, then Mrs. Blessing. Then I'm going to continue with the next challenge that we have, or the next lab that we're going to solve. It's still going to be on SQL. It's quite popular. Okay, Mr. Patrick. Okay, sorry, before Mr. Patrick, please, Mrs. Blessing. Mrs. Blessing. Okay, she's not there. Mr. Patrick. Mr. Patrick, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations, you've solved the lab. But then the titling for the gift didn't change. So I wanted to know if I'm on.
The what? Come again?
So I followed the instructions. I did the intercept and all. So showed it just wrote congratulations, you've solved the lab. But then like when you did it, this thing changed. So I wanted to know if the gift, I think the name changed.
Okay, no, don't bother about it. In as much as it tells you that you've actually solved the lab, it means you've actually carried out what you are meant to carry out. Do you get? Do you understand it?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we proceed. Where are we? Okay, now I said we're going to take one more SQL question, one more SQL injection lab, then we solve. Okay, I share my screen now. So let's close this one. Let's pick the second one. Now, SQL injection vulnerability allowing login bypass. This is quite interesting. The lab says this lab contains a SQL injection. Let's access the lab. So it contains a SQL injection vulnerability in the login function. To solve the lab, perform a SQL injection attack that logs into the application as the administrator user. Now, this is it there. I remember if you check all this, like look at this one, I'm showing you solved. Look at it, showing you solved. That's because I've done it like a long time ago. I think I can't really remember when. Yeah. So the idea, most of the time when I bring up all these stuff, I don't really like. It's not as if I crammed the answer. It's just like, let me say, using normal knowledge to solve it. That's why sometimes when I give you tasks on cyber talent, you will discover that some of you that normally come to my DM asking me for clue, okay, how about this one? I'll tell you that, oh, please just wait. I've not yet gotten the answer for that one. Then I will now like do it. Then I will now get back to you. So I'm saying that because there's actually like a solution here that you can always run to. That's when you are stuck. Right? But I will not advise you to just run to the solution at the very beginning when you've never accessed, you've never done anything. You're just jumping straight to the solution. No, here's a solution. Use Bob suit to intercept and modify the login request. Modify the username parameter, giving it the value administrator, then dash. Can you see? Okay, no, let's access the lab. We already have the lab. Can you see? So I'm not going to explain it based on what they said or the way they explained it there. But bottom line is, this is what they said. They said this lab contains a SQL injection vulnerability. What it means is that this, you see, this website has like SQLI is vulnerable to SQLI. To solve the lab, perform SQLI attack that logs into the application as the administrator user. So let's go here. So in a note, we are actually meant to log into this. We are meant to log into this stuff. So let's try to log in my account. Did they tell us what we are logging into? Logging in with? Let's check it. The service lab performance in that logs into the application as the administrator user. Okay. Come back here. So let's use username. We're going to use administrator. Then for password, let's use administrator. For password, let's what should we use? Let's use 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's log in. Username is not correct. Let's go back. Perform SQL injection attack that logs into the application. Okay, let's use administrator here first. Administrator. Now for password, we are actually going to intercept the request. But let's use our 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to go and put on my Bob. Intercept is on. Please, this is what I mean. Let me share the screen so that you can see what I'm talking about. This is what I mean. You can see this thing now. Before it was off, but now it is on. So now my intercept is on, and just so if in case you are following me, you can just do it the same way I am doing it. So after that, we go back to our to our browser. I'll share my screen. Sorry for the whole sharing of screen, changing of screen. Please, it's just so that you can follow me and understand everything I'm like explaining. So while I do that, let me show you the screen. Remember the intercept is on. I will now log in. It's not going to go. That's the idea. It's not actually meant to go. We'll now go back to our Bob suite. It has captured that request, right? Bob. Share screen. Bob. Bob. Now, oh, okay. Okay, you can't see anything here, right? Forward this. I want to make this bigger. Oops, go make it bigger, please. Gosh, I need to make this thing big, very big. Good. Okay, sure you can see the whole screen now. Now this is like a post request. Go to my Bob. Yes, this is like a post request. Now let's read everything that is there. There's no need. We've already analyzed everything before one of the classes when I was explaining Bob to you. The post request, login, HTTP. So it's everything about that request that is captured. But what's our own concern? This is our concern here. This username and this password. Meanwhile, now you will now see, you know the password that we put is 1234. If you remember very well, when the first time we put that 1234, it didn't allow us to go in, right? It didn't allow us to go in. Now we're now going to put like one SQL injection. We're going to put one SQL injection to inject something here. If you are confused as per, okay, how do I go on from here? You can easily check that int. Okay, unique parameter. You can check the int, but sometimes, anyways, no problem. So you replace your username field here with this. So we forward this. So let's check what it has shown us. It's still showing that it's loading. You know, I have to go and forward it again. I'll forward it again. Still showing that it's loading. It's not meant to keep loading like that. And I'll forward it again. Forward. Should show now because I've already seen the result here. Forward. Then I forward again. Exactly. Then this is it. So if you are doing it with me, just know that I have to forward multiple times. Right? That's if you are doing it with me. If you forward the first time, you're not going to see the results yet. But then you forward again. This is what I mean. Let me share this screen, this box. This particular thing I just did now is even at the point I even got confused that, oh, what am I doing? Now, look at this forward place. I forwarded the first time. It didn't give me this thing was, if you notice, you guys were the one looking at this thing, you were not seeing the, but I forwarded it again. Give me another, I forwarded it again. Then I forwarded it again. I'm going to show you now. I will like redo it. I'll do it again so that you can see what I was doing in the Bob suit. Let's go back to our browser. Go back to the lab. I will close this one. Let's access the lab again. Now, just like a normal website, but this time around, this our normal website, or so to say website, or website of our organization, or bank, or whatever it is vulnerable to SQLI. Let's just assume it's vulnerable to SQLI. Now, what do we do? Okay, while it's loading, I don't know why it's taking time to load. Let me open it again, access the lab. No, it's taking time to load. Babalola, you want to ask me a question? Okay. Please proceed.
Yes, as it was loading, I thought that the intercept is it on or off. If it is on, I thought it will affect it. Or
Guy, thanks, Jerry. Wait, are you asking a question?
no, that's just what I want to call your attention to.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. The intercept is actually. Thank you very much. The intercept was I just now, as you said it now, that's how I went to put it off. The intercept was on, so was on. So let's go back there. Let's go back to the website. Thanks very much for that. Yeah. So let's access the lab. Okay, now look at this. Just like I said, imagine this like a normal website, I used to know. Now, don't let me go to this. Let me do this like a normal website I used to know. Now, you go to my account. Normally, we have to log in with, let me say, administrator. This is strange. Let me log out as if we don't know. So now, let's my account. Logging in. Now, remember, let me put Ade Ojo. It will not go. That's the idea. It will not go. It will tell us it's wrong. Let me put admin. Then admin. It shouldn't still go. It's not going to go, right? So now let's assume they already told us from the description. So like I want to use this thing that logs into the application as the administrator user. So we use administrator. Now for the password, let's use, what was the password that is always for, okay, most of the time it's always admin or Tor or root. let us use admin. Admin. You press login. It's actually not meant to go. It will not go. It will not go. Right. So let's even press it safe. You see, invalid username or password. All those other things are not working. This time around now, we are going to want to now do what they ask us to do. We put administrator, we put admin. So instead of logging in, let's go and put on our intercept. So just follow. I'm going to go up now. Now you see my Bob suits. I'll now go and put on intercept. You know what intercept is meant to do. Intercept is on. I will now on the intercept. Now as I on the intercept, I would have loved someone to do this thing instead of me doing it again. As intercept is on, I will go back to the, okay, let me go back to the site. So intercept on, I'm going to now log in. Just focus on the, this thing, focus on the screen. I'll now log in. Log in. It will now continue to load eternally. While it is loading, it's not like it's loading, it's just processing. Meanwhile, the request has been captured by my Bob. We'll go back to Bob. Remember, this one is loading. No? We go back to Bob. I go to Bob. Bob. Remember, it has captured that request, right? Now, see, this is the request here. This is the request that is sending to the server. As it's sending it to the server, at the base of it, we can see what was actually going through. Username is administrator, and the password is admin. After this explanation, I'm going to ask a question about something like the query that we put there. Now, we now change this administrator. We now change it to this. So upon putting this, we are now going to forward. Please take note. I'm not going to go to the browser. Just look at the Bob while we move on. So I'll forward it. It's bringing me a blank page. Meanwhile, while looking at the Bob, it did not load the page. That's the expected page. I'll forward it. I'm getting this. I still forward this again. Now, upon seeing this, I already know that it has logged in. This is like this is so. Now checking what we have there. Let's now go back to the browser. Now the lab has actually been solved. Okay, now here's my question before I pay for you to ask your questions. What is the impact of this administrator dash that we put there? This is what I'm talking about. This administrator then dash that we put there. Samuel Billy. I need another person. Samuel Billy, I don't know, work on your speaker or something. Another person is going to answer the question. When you Dika David.
Okay, sir. The administrator dash the dash is like a comment. Like it's a comment out every other thing that follows it at the back. That means the password will not be needed again.
Okay, so what impact does that thing have on that like database?
Like it will only be the administrator that will the username that we needed on that thing.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now to buttress what he has said. Now, ordinarily, ordinarily we are meant to put like this username, then password. Now, that implies that we just we use to manipulate the SQL query executed by the database. It can even give like unauthorized users to anybody. Let's say anybody come and pose as admin. The person can just come and pose as admin and do whatever he wants to do. Now, first of all, see that administrator, this is administrator, then dash, like this, dash. I don't remember what's the name of this thing. Is it apostrophe? I don't know. You see this thing that is here? Okay, Stanley, just quickly help me. What's that thing called?
It's called hyphen, sir.
Okay, thank you. So you see that hyphen that is there is actually like a part of the okay, take it like this. In many like let's say like something like SQL queries, like SQL queries like that. You see that single hyphen like that quote or single quote. It can be used to like delimit string itself. Yeah. So by closing the string, the quotes, the SQL query that is actually being entered or that is being passed to the database is being altered. Now, the most important one, not like the most important one, the very important one, just like what the other person answered, Mr. David said, this two dash dash is actually like a comment indicator in SQL. Just like we have in Python. For comments, we have something like hash. Use hash to, so it is not going to read that, it's not going to read, like the program is not going to read that particular line that you are writing. Same thing goes to this one. When we put administrator, we now put dash dash, is that it's going to like treat it as a comment. So everything that is following that dash dash is treated as a comment and ignored completely by the SQL database or the SQL engine or whatever it is called or whatever it is. So that password, there is even no need. So anything that is like vulnerable to SQL injection, we actually not look at the password. You know, the idea is not just to solve a lab. The idea is to like, let me explain it to us what is actually going on. The first one I will solve, that access, that one is actually very, very simple. So I'm not like good like, let me say, really break it down. Let me give you one typical example. Let's say you have, let's go back to this place. Let's go back to this place, access. Sorry, let me go and put off that stuff. This is going to be the last example on this place. I mean example on this SQLI. I think I've explained a lot in SQLI. Okay, so let's go to the lab, and I'm not solving it again. I just want to like quickly explain something so you get. So let's assume like this lab now, we go to this my account. The idea here is that the idea here is that if you try to enter this account, it's going to prompt you for username, it's going to prompt you for password. Now let's assume this is like a normal, like let me say Access Bank website, and it is using SQL for this particular part. It's using SQL. Now you see this username. Let's say you put Ade. No, let me use somebody's name. Let's use Chibuzo. And for password, you now put Patrick. Right? The moment you click on login, let's say it's like using SQL for the database. This is actually what you are going to see. This is the query you are going to the SQL database or the SQL engine or the SQL machine. I don't know the right word to use, but any word that I'm using, just take it like that. That it is going to read. So what it's basically going to do, I sorry I didn't go deep like this yesterday's class. I have my reasons. It's going to like, it's like a query that will be like, it will like select. It's going to like select all. There's the hash. There's the hash from users where what's that field again? Username, right? Username, where username is equal to, what's the name we used? Chibuzo is equal to Chibuzo. Then close. Please just watch what I'm doing. Sorry, just I just is a way is a very good way to you understand it better. Don't be terrified that, oh, I still need to go and learn SQL. Me that I'm talking to you, I don't know like SQL like very well. I don't know, like I know it like a bit. Yes, and I know a couple of programming languages too. There are some I know to like a very proficient level, and there are some I know to like I just know them a bit, like PHP, which is actually very important. No, is PHP. The level of proficiency in PHP is not like that great like that, but then quite proficient with Python. So now we continue, and what's the next thing here? Next thing here is password, right? And password. Yes, I know the network disrupted. And password is, what's the password we put there? Ah shit, I can't remember. What's the password we put there? I think I was using Chibuzo's name. Okay, Patrick.
Password that we put there.
So, okay. And password is equal to Patrick. So now, okay. So now this is actually the query that is going to go to the SQL. Just take it like this, the query that is going to go to the SQL. Select from users where username is this, then password is this. Now, if we now come and say we want to change this, we want to change this username, we want to change the username to like that thing that we put before, Chibuzo, we now put, whereas we already know that the username is Chibuzo, then we don't even know the password. We can't get it, but we are very sure that the username is Chibuzo or Chibuzo01. This is Chibuzo01. 01. So now, what we can easily do, we can easily add that comments, that restructure the query in such a way that we are going to add comments, dash, dash, then we put our code again, then we load it. So basically, that thing that we've just done is going to like erase out this other part. So what it's going to do for us now, what is going to enter the query machine or the SQL machine is this alone. Just watch you. What's going to enter is from here, select all from users where the username is what is just Chibuzo01. That's the, sorry, not this other. Sorry. It's going to stop here. You see this remaining, to comment it out. Yeah, it will comment it out. Trying to explain what comment is, but I think that is good for that explanation. Is actually, if you actually have difficulty in still understanding the way I've explained again, then it may be like the fault may be coming from maybe you understanding SQL injection or programming language generally. Let me take the first question from Emeka. Emeka, please ask your question. Emeka, the floor is yours, please.
Hello?
Emeka,
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear
No,
you.
I wanted to correct. You were asking of the username, the password you use. I wanted to tell you Patrick. That's why I was waiting.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, Joshua.
Okay, good evening, Boniface. Thank you for the effort. Okay, very informative. Now my question is this: this SQL injection attack. Okay, what are the conditions? What are the conditions that are required for it to be able to be effective or to work on a particular site? Like what conditions should be met first before it will be able to succeed in attacking a website?
Okay, what you're asking is how do you know that a website is actually vulnerable to SQLI, right?
Yes, yes, yes. The conditions that you will meet, or how do you know that yes, this site can be attacked with SQL injection and it will succeed?
Okay, now, if you remember very well, I said something like, okay, two things. How do we know the vulnerabilities? Then the next thing is, how do we exploit the vulnerabilities, right? So, if those two things are answered, then we are good to go. Now, that's where your question comes. Your question comes in is talking about the first one. How do we know that a certain site is vulnerable to SQLI? Now, one thing you may want to do is to run a scan first on that site. We tried using what's that tool name again? We tried using Zap yesterday to run a scan on the site. You're not going to use Bob. If you're going to use Bob, it means you're going to purchase the professional version. Community edition will not give you scanner. So now that's one method. If you scan, by the time you get the reports, if you under the reports field, we're trying to analyze the alert session under that Zap yesterday, and I told you like different this thing. There was one thing that said that okay, this thing is missing. As a result of that, this particular attack and this particular attack, it can be vulnerable to them. Now that's giving you an expo on inside that you see this attack and this attack can actually, this website is susceptible to these two attacks. Then you know that okay, one line of sight or one area you are coming from is what those attacks. Now, if you don't want to go that way, or let me say you've already gotten the insight from there, you can now go to different pages and be testing it manually. That first one I did is like pen testers will call it automatic testing. Now you now go and do it manually. Now, what is the manual one? You go to input field, like example of input field is like a field that's asking you for username. A field that's asking you for username. Now you're going to test it. How do you test it? You can put like single quotes. You will now observe the behavior. Like you see what is going to return. Now, if let's say the application returns like a database error, it tells you database error, just know that it might be vulnerable to SQLI. Some pen testers don't actually like going the manual way because they see, like at first they don't like going the manual way because they see it as kind of like stressful. So that's one very way. Another one is using that basic SQL. I think we use it for the first one. Let me type that one on the screen. Like it's a basic one that you can actually use. So if you check look at this one, when you say or single quote, then you have or, then you have 1 equal to 1. It will always return true. Sorry, equal to 1. It will always return true. So now, by the time you use something like that, but if you observe the response, something like database error or something like telling you like you have an error in your SQL syntax or on close quotation after the character string. Talking about that your SQL query. It's not meant to talk about it at all. So talking about it is actually a sign that that stuff is vulnerable to SQL injection. I think that answers your question, right?
Yes, Boniface, it answers it. Thank you so much. Then the other one is just more like auxiliary. Okay? Does it only work for only unsecured sites, or will it also work for secured sites?
That question, you won't be able to answer that question yourself. It cannot work for this thing, for secured site though. Like my point at the very beginning is if you inject all this kind of syntax in, if you put all this kind of syntax in an unsecured site, don't let us use the word unsecured. Let's use the word to a site that is vulnerable to SQLI. It's going to return you with some kind of errors. Something like something like an error that is kind of like instructing you on how to correct the SQL. It's not actually meant to instruct you on that. It should just maybe tell you maybe page not found, or tell you it should give you one report, like one. So most of the popular one we know is error 44, page not found, page not found, and that's all. Or to tell you, so, but now imagine now you now put something like that. It's not telling you you have an error in your SQL syntax. Do you see that that's like giving you an insight that is just trying to tell you that if you correct your SQL syntax, I'm actually going to read this query that you are sending to me. It means there's high chance that that guy is vulnerable to SQL injection. So if you craft it very well, you are going to be able to exploit it. But let me give you one quick expo. That would be like last thing I will say as far as your question. Hardly will you see conventional websites, that's today, that are vulnerable to SQLI. Sorry, that's like a bitter truth, but it's all good anyways. So last question before I proceed. Okay, Adepa is not asking any questions. Now let's move to the last one.
I'm cleared now. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I was thinking Mr. Adepa wanted to ask a question, but let's move to one very interesting challenge actually. This one is the one that a lot of us are actually familiar with. I don't know if we are really familiar with it, but when we talk about brute force, we talk about dictionary attack, we want to load something from a list of something. So let's check. We move to, okay. So I'm going to like end this video recording now. So this one, I'll start another video recording so that you can.